Hello, everybody. It is Larisa here, and I am joined by Dr. Lisa Weeks. She is a naturopathic doctor. She is also a mother and leader of the Wild Collective, or a Wild Collective chapter right here in Toronto, and also online, right? And so Lisa and I met a couple weeks ago at a meeting, and she started talking about some of the work she does. And I know I've had a big, long journey in health and well-being. And so the message that she was sharing really, really resonated with her, because it was all about mind, body, health, and community. And these themes are all something that I know have shown up in my life, that show up in so many lives of the people that I come across and that I work with. And so I'm so happy to have you here and have you here to share your knowledge and share your wealth of wisdom with us. And I don't think we'll get through your whole wealth of knowledge today.
I hope not, right? That means it's very small.
Yeah. Well, we'll touch on a bit of it. And so if you have any questions as we go along, please feel free to ask questions. Lisa is lovely. Lisa is very kind, very compassionate. So if you do have any questions for Lisa, or myself as things come up, then please do pop them into the chat. So Lisa, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your practice?
I can, definitely. So I've been in practice now, I'm in Toronto, it's been about 13 years. And as I've gone through practice, I've helped hundreds of women and families and kids with various health conditions, but there was something lacking with their health. So they lacked either that accountability, things to stick to, the plan, they were lacking some tools. So, that people did well with the plan and the program I put them on, but sometimes people would come back and they'd say, oh, I kind of fell off, I'm not sticking to these healthy habits, my PMS symptoms are coming back, or my hot flashes or digestive issues are coming back. And I realized that we needed to work on accountability, healthy habits, and building community, having people see others go through health transformations so that they can be inspired and motivated and know that it is possible for them, and for them to have that accountability and check-in. So I'm accountable. I help people be accountable with me as well. But seeing someone outside of their naturopathic doctor, healthcare professional, to kind of pair up with and set goals and check in on each other, I think was something that was really missing. So that's why I'm excited about this Wild Collective. But as a little bit of an aside, I am a bit of a science nerd. So I did study biology, and I had several research jobs researching cancer and atherosclerosis, etc. So I've always loved learning about the body and health, but I wanted to work with people. So I moved from a research setting and found the naturopathic college and said, this is exactly what I want to do. I want to learn about food and nutrition and herbs and balancing hormones and how the inner workings of our body, how it works. So I wanted to learn about that. So that's a bit of me in a nutshell. And as an aside too, I have a podcast as well called the Perimenopausal Mamas podcast. So we can talk about that later, I'm sure.
We will have to put all those links in the description afterwards, so that we can give that to everyone. I think there's two things that you said that I really, really loved. Is the first about accountability. And I know I had a 10-year fertility journey, and looking back, I can see why things happened now. But at the time I was really, really frustrated, and I felt very alone. I know they said, oh, there's people out there, but I would go from doctor to doctor to doctor looking for solutions. And part of me held myself accountable, but one doctor didn't always know what the other doctor was doing. And there was never that ongoing support unless you just go for your doctor's visit, right? And it's very structured. It's in that time frame. And so I love the idea of ongoing accountability for a longer period of time, because right now I didn't even know that could have happened. But something like that, I know for myself, would have been huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a missing piece yet for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that experience, it's common. It's not acceptable that so many women have to go through that. I see so many patients come into my door where they say, I've been told everything is normal. They don't know what is wrong, but I know I'm not feeling great, whether it's with fertility challenges, digestive issues, being totally exhausted, and doctors chalking it up to being, a new mom or being busy. So that's definitely something as naturopaths we can address. We address the person, and there's many tools we can use to figure out what's causing the imbalance or the issue, and we treat each person as an individual. And then that accountability piece, I think, is really key too. So being accountable to a naturopathic doctor who puts kind of all the pieces together of the puzzle, but also when, you join a community such as the Wild Collective, which we'll get into, that can really enhance and accelerate your health to the next level.
Yeah. And I feel like sometimes I live in a bubble and I just assume everyone thinks the same things I do and knows the same things I do. But I remember that there was a time where I wasn't really aware of the idea of treating the cause instead of the symptom. I remember in 8th grade, I was popping like 3 to 5 extra strength Tylenols for a headache. Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't realize I was dehydrated and hadn't had anything to eat, and also had like a croissant for breakfast 4 hours before. That could have led to that. And I could have treated it so much more simply, but I didn't know any better. And I was always looking for like the quick fix. And I think that's something that I love the medical system because it's there to help us in extreme conditions. But in many cases, we don't necessarily have that education to support us until we go seek someone's advice or someone's help, like a naturopathic doctor or some kind of natural practitioner. And so if you have things going on physically, I think really taking a look at the cause of the underlying symptom can help you not just eliminate the symptom, but eliminate the problem and improve your entire health, like your mood, your physical body, right? When you start to eat better foods, you will just look better, right?
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great thing that, being part of naturopathic medicine, I really resonate with. So getting to the root cause. So yeah, if you were driving your car and the oil light came on, so you can choose to put, a sticker over top and ignore it. Eventually your car is going to stop. I'm not a mechanic, so I might not be explaining this properly, but I think you'll get my analogy. Or you can choose to look at that light and say, wait a minute, something's wrong here. I need to stop and address that, or else I'm going to have problems down the road. So that's one analogy I like to use of your body shows you signs and symptoms where there's imbalances and when there's imbalances. So it could be the nagging headache, for example. You may use a Band-Aid solution, but you're not getting to the root cause if you're just popping the Advil or the Tylenol. And then looking at another analogy. So in naturopathic medicine, I like to describe it like we're putting a fence up on a cliff. So we want to stop you from falling off that cliff. So waiting until, your thyroid's basically 0% functioning or close to that, right? Where you've hit the wall basically. So we want to prevent you from falling off the cliff. The medical world is great, right? There's a time and a place for certain things and surgeries, but they catch you once you've fallen off that cliff. So we're more preventative and stopping that, hopefully that big fall or that accident from happening, whether it's, burnout, thyroid dysregulation, gut issues, a whole host of things.
Yeah. And I think how you do anything is how you do everything. And if you're just used to catching things after you fall off the cliff, I love that analogy. It's brilliant. So I'm probably going to use that one. I hope that's okay.
Of course,
but if you're used to always catching yourself after the, like, oh my God, the problem is so bad. Now what do I do? Let me put out this fire. Let me take care of it now. But when you become proactive, I think that's really truly the opportunity to have that mind-body connection. We were just chatting before the call about the idea of mind-body, and I used to work in the movement industry, and people would come in and be like, I want mind-body connection. I want mind-body work. But many of them thought just showing up meant they were doing mind-body work. I'm going to show up to a Pilates class. Now I'm doing mind-body work. To do mind-body work, you actually have to raise your awareness. You have to pay attention. And when you are doing something in a preventative way, it's not just follow the doctor's orders. It's do what the doctor says, but also learn a little bit about why you're doing it. Spend time interacting with people that are going through the same thing. And that's building that awareness. I think that's a big thing. Like with the work that I do, we do a lot with mindset, but mindset work, like you're not going to go manifest something without actually paying attention to things. You're not going to go improve your life. You're not going to go feel better. You're not going to have better relationships if you don't take the time.
Like if we use that example of, oh no, you go ahead, sorry.
Oh no, sorry. You go ahead.
Okay. Yeah.
Just if you could speak a little bit on your perspective of mind, body, and that.
Sure.
The mind, body connection to spirit to well-being.
Sure. Yeah. So if you use that analogy of the headache, right, and you take an Advil or a Tylenol, you're disconnecting yourself from that symptom. So that symptom, yes, it sucks and nobody wants to have a headache. And there may be a time and place to take the Advil because you have to get through the day. But it's looking at, okay, why am I getting that headache? And for you, it was the dehydration. Other people, it might be tight muscles. Yeah, they haven't eaten. They have unbalanced blood sugars or hormones. So there's times when you want to listen to that and actually journal and write down what was going on in my day, what was going on in my mind, what did I eat, what did I drink, or what didn't I drink, and track that. And that's that mind-body awareness. So the first step for most of my patients is doing a journal, right? So tracking their symptoms, their sleep, their food. Just the first step is that awareness. And then we review the journal or whatever the homework was together. And we look back and we say, oh, look, this was a day you had a headache. You had 2 glasses of water that day total, and you had a glass of wine the night before. Yes, you're dehydrated. So people start to tune in and put these things together. And a lot of times they're like, wow, I never really put that together before. I never noticed that there was a pattern to my symptoms. And sometimes it can be more complicated and we need to delve a bit deeper, but that's one piece to it. So tracking it and having that awareness of it. And then also then getting into a group setting and say it's other people that are suffering from headaches or migraines, and they shared their experiences about what could be causing it, what's helping them. And that just opens and expands your awareness to, okay, it's not just because I didn't drink enough water. Maybe it's because, I'm stressed out today too. So there can be more than one cause for a physical ailment as well. So that's why I also like my work. It's complicated. It's like I'm a detective. We're peeling the layers off of an onion to figure out what is contributing to your health concerns and your issues.
And I love that. And I think I love the idea of doing something in a group setting and really being proactive with a group, because you can be mindful with people. And instead of just getting together to complain about your problems, you're actually learning about ways that you can make it better. You're all interested in improving your lives. And that's such a powerful place to be, because when you're going on a new journey, if your doctor is the only person you have to talk to, and they have patients, they have a life, they may not be as available. But if you have a community that you can reach out to and maybe say, I need some help today. Is someone available for a chat? Or does anyone have this idea? You have this large pool to draw from. And I think that's one of the benefits I've seen in the group coaching work that I've done. Is I used to do everything one-on-one, and I'm like, well, I'm giving more clients more individual attention. But then when they got together in a group setting, so many of them were like, oh, it was so good to hear this story. Oh, I didn't even think of that. And hearing those stories from other people is so, so powerful. So you've mentioned a couple of times the Wild Collective. So can you tell us what the Wild Collective is specifically? Because this is a very, very cool concept. I've never heard of it. And I hear about a lot of, I'm in the know for a lot of these things. So this is brand
You are, when I last spoke to you, you're listing off all these types of therapies and people so I think that's great that you offer group coaching, and I'm so excited to be offering group community health medicine as well. And that's going to be launching in a couple of weeks. So it's called the Wild Collective. It's a revolutionary women's health community initiative that was developed about 4 years ago by another naturopathic doctor, Dr. Michelle Paris. She's in Oakville. So she found that there was this lack of connection, and some patients were just kind of stuck. They weren't moving to a place that they needed to feel their best and live their best life. So she created it as an in-person experience for a group of 20 women. And it's based on I would have, now we're doing it virtually. So once a month, actually around my ovulation time, when you join the group, you'll find out why, but that's the time where I'll be my best to present and share information. But once a month for 10 months, there's a 2-hour virtual session, which was in person before. An hour of that is an educational piece. So there's a different topic each month. So the first one's on my menstrual cycle, and then there's on detox, digestion, my thyroid, etc. So 10 different topics, but at the start of each meeting, we set it up like a circle. So in person, the women would sit in a circle and share about that topic of the night or the day, kind of their experience. Like, what was your experience like when you had a period? Or what is your experience like now with your hormones? So women, if they're comfortable sharing, they share a bit about that topic. And we go around the circle and we hear about different perspectives and maybe what's good for some people, what's been challenging, what's worked, what hasn't worked. Then we do the education piece. And then we end the circle again with a take-home message or a feeling or emotion that they have after going through the meeting. So it's really empowering for women to be able to share their stories in a non-judgmental space, to hear other women's stories as well. And then it develops that extra level of awareness in terms of their health. And then there's an accountability piece as well. So you're paired up with someone outside of those monthly visits to check in on each other if you're doing the homework or reaching the goals that we have set. And then there's also a Facebook group. So we use that between visits as well to keep the connection nice and strong. And you can post questions and get feedback from the group if you're having any challenges with your health, with your life, with your family.
Lovely. So where I'm sure people will be wondering, where can they get more information about this?
Yeah, so I'm actually offering info sessions this week. So they're free, they're virtual. There's one tonight at 7:00, one on Thursday at 2:00, and one on Saturday at 11:00. This is Eastern Standard Time. So you can get information. So if you go to my Instagram at Dr. Lisa Weeks, Dr. Lisa Weeks, Weeks, or Dr. Lisa Weeks ND in capitals, as in naturopathic doctor. You can get information there, and the sign up link is in my bio, or you can go to my website and you can find the Wild Collective information session tab, and you can sign up for the information session there. And then there is a podcast episode on the Perimenopausal Mamas podcast that I am a co-host of, with an interview with Dr. Michelle Paris about the Wild Collective, about the benefits of community health. So you can always listen to that as well if you want to get a taste of what we're all about. But I highly recommend coming to the info sessions. It's going to be a lot of fun. And if you join live, there's some pretty cool bonuses. So
amazing. And I will make sure after our call, we'll make sure to post the links directly under here so you can access them within a few minutes, within 5-10 minutes of our call. And I think it sounds like a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for so many women, because when you are supported, when you are in that community with like-minded people, that's when you can really escalate to success. We study books like Think and Grow Rich. And one of the concepts that Napoleon Hill really mass marketed to the world is the idea of a mastermind group. And a mastermind is 2 or more people that work together in a collective, unified way to achieve an outcome and to better each other's lives and to better their own lives. And I think that's exactly what you're doing in a totally new way, and being able to bring that to women, whether in Toronto or virtually. I think that's one really great opportunity that we've had right now, is being able to do this virtually as well. So if you're not in Toronto, you can still tune in and take part in something like this and become a part of something bigger. So with that, do you have any other final words or anything else you'd love for people to know?
Sure. Yeah, I didn't mention. So one of the reasons I joined or became a facilitator for the Wild Collective was because I went through some loneliness and feeling kind of isolated after having my son Stuart. I went through some breastfeeding challenges, which turned into postpartum anxiety, etc. So if you tune in, you'll hear all about that. But that's why I became a facilitator for the Wild Collective. And I know so many people right now, loneliness is becoming an epidemic, and we are so unconnected more than ever, especially now with the pandemic going on. And I don't know if you know this, but social isolation and loneliness is the #1 cause of all risk mortality. So it's higher than any other risk of death by, heart disease, etc. And actually, it's worse for your health to be lonely and have weak social connections. It's worse than smoking cigarettes, 15 cigarettes per day, and worse than being obese. So it really influences our health, not only our lifespan, how long we live, but our health span, which is even more important. So how long in your life are you healthy for and able to thrive and enjoy it? So I think it's really a key component to our health that's been missing for so long, and we need it now more than ever.
Absolutely. And I know for myself, like I have definitely had some people in my life that have gone through that loneliness. And unfortunately, they ended up on the wrong side of it because they didn't seek help, even when it was offered. And so I think if you are feeling like you need some more support, if you even aren't sure whether this is right for you, but if you're just like, I need some help, reach out to me, reach out to Dr. Lisa, reach out to somebody, because I think it doesn't matter who you reach out to, but you've got to reach out to somebody, whoever it is. And if you don't get the answers you're looking for, keep reaching out, because the most successful people out there reach out for help when they need it. And it's not about getting the big house, getting the big car. It's about waking up and feeling good about your day. It's about waking up and getting a hug because you've got someone to hug. It's about waking up and smiling at yourself and looking at yourself in the mirror and just being so damn proud of yourself because you're a good person and you help other people, but you can only do that if you take care of yourself, ultimately.
I love that. That's such a great message. And yeah, it's so amazing that you have this group coaching too, because that's so important to get really deep into the mental, emotional, right? I think that's so needed right now.
Yeah. And you've definitely, thank you for all those stats, because I'm going to review them, and it's given me a whole different perspective on things, because I knew it was bad, but I didn't realize it was as severe as you had made it. So please reach out to Dr. Lisa. We will post the links in just a few minutes for her podcasts. So your Perimenopausal Mamas podcast. We will also post a link to your free info sessions for the Wild Collective. And is there anything else that I was supposed to do? I think it was those two.
Yeah, I think that's good. I can put my Instagram handle too if they want.
An Instagram handle. Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. Great. Well, thank you so much for joining me, and thanks for taking the time to be here today. And
my pleasure. Thanks, Larissa. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate coming on and being able to connect with you and your audience and your followers. So I really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone. Stay safe.